School, the Belani Second School in East District, Limpopo Province, South Africa. I just want to take this opportunity and welcome everyone present, and including Memwera Mabua from South Africa. Welcome. Our theme this session, building the foundation for inclusive learning. And what is inclusive learning? Inclusive learning encompass or embrace providing quality and equitable education, that which Sustainable Development Goal number 4 requires every one of us to do. Inclusive learning also requires every one of us to respect differences, to respect diversity. It also requires every one of us to understand, acknowledge, and respect the variety of needs that our learners have. It also requires every one of us to be considerate to learners' interests and their characteristics. It also requires every one of us to meet the learning expectations of everyone and to get rid of all forms of discrimination and to make sure that we prioritize learning participation. And remember that with learning participation, therefore it means we have access to education. Our learners will be able to access education without hindrance, education without any barrier. In that way, we will be minimizing learning barriers. That is what inclusive learning is all about, as stated by UNESCO. Now, what is inclusion? Well, inclusion is defined as a complex process where the diverse needs of all the learners are identified, and it increases the participation of learners, and as such, reduce exclusion. Now, inclusion is a feeling, not a place. When inclusion is referred to as a feeling, it means it is a sense of being made to feel valued, respected, and having a feeling of belonging. Well, inclusive learning, according to the universal design of learning. Now, according to universal design, learning design, learning should be accessible to all learners, regardless of any learning barrier. It should be accessible. Learning should cater the diverse needs of all learners. It also should have inclusive content delivery design that teachers should undertake or carry on. There should be differentiated curriculum content teaching methods and assessment methods so that specific needs of all learners are catered for in order to dispel learning barriers. Well, inclusive learning should accommodate and accept different learning styles of all learners. And that requires teachers to be able to be spot on, to be able to profile each and every learner so that they'll be able to identify their specific needs. Well, what about multiple intelligence approach? In order to make inclusive learning possible, well, according to multiple intelligence approach, curriculum should be differentiated to meet specific needs of learners. There should be total or complete respect for diversity. Learning should accommodate all types of intelligence. Well, we should create inclusive learning environment that acknowledge these 8 forms of intelligence, such as verbal, logical, naturalistic, interpersonal, visual, musical, kinesthetic, and intrapersonal. Now, how can we implement inclusive learning? How do we do that? Create inclusive learning environment. And curriculum should be designed inclusively, should accommodate everyone. Well, there should be advanced teachers training. We cannot talk about inclusive teaching whereas teachers are not well trained. There must be advanced teaching training or teaching practice. Now, teachers also should believe in their students' ability to learn. Well, we need also as teachers to reduce pedagogical barriers to learning, such that teachers are well equipped, learners are given enough resources, And now the other thing that we need to do is to make provision of enough teaching resources or materials that will enable learners to control their own learning. That means learners will be autonomous. Learners will be able to undertake learning without the assistance of a teacher. Now, we need to develop methodologies and mediation strategies such that we are able to be accommodative and empower our learners. We also need to diversify language as medium of instruction, such that we are able to teach learners in the language they understand or in the familiar language, so that we can embrace them. That will be part of inclusive learning. Well, we also need to integrate information and communication technology, ICT skills, that which is futuristic, so that we can be able to instill computational thinking skills. We also need to be considerate to different cognitive levels of our learners, so that we can embrace anyone when we give them assessment activities. When we teach, we need to gauge our pace depending on the cognitive levels of our learners. Well, inclusive learning through the principles of African philosophies. As Africans, we are fond of our philosophies that guide us, that direct us as to how we need to live with one another. Well, I am going to look at Ubuntu. Ubuntu, remember that it's a principle, African principle that says, I am a human being because of others. I am a person because of others. Now, this Ubuntu is seen in the attitudes and practice of the policy frameworks through which respect, empathy, accountability, responsibility, compassion, unity, compromise, love, caring, and tolerance are the fruit of Ubuntu. So if a teacher has all of this, if everyone within the mainstream has all of this, then inclusive learning will be undertaken without hindrance, without barriers. And learners will learn without barriers as well. Now, the philosophy of Ubuntu is essential for inclusive learning because it makes everyone comfortable, it makes everyone welcome, it makes everyone at ease in terms of learning and teaching. Well, there are three important values of Ubuntu. These are the most important, the three, which is humanness, which says everyone has got the right to inherent dignity, respect, care, and compassion. Well, it also has the second value, which is interdependence. Interdependence actually embrace the support everyone has. Once we have humanity amongst ourselves, we'll be able to support and we'll be able to protect one another. Well, another value which is very much important is communalism, which brings about a sense or a feeling of community. Now, if we are having a sense of community, then we'll be able to respect one another, we'll be able to take care of one another, we'll be compassionate, we'll protect, and we'll collaborate with one another. Well, what are the resources to enhance inclusive learning? Well, the most important thing is assistive technologies and information communication technologies. And through assistive technologies and information technologies, learners will be able to understand the content better. Learners will be able to access education resources through these technology affordances. But not forgetting that not everyone affords technology tools. Now, learners will be able to interact with content at their own pace, at their own time. Learners will also be creative. They'll be able to create their own content through technology tools. And communication will also be enhanced, and such that the performance of our learners will be augmented. And with assistive technology and information communication technologies, 21st century skills will be developed. Now, it augments learning for learners who are experiencing learning barriers, such as hearing impairment or visual impairment. Well, Now, since we are in the fourth industrial revolution, technology enhances inclusive learning. And how does it do that? Through technology, we are able to connect with one another. We are able to connect with the world. We are able to create with ICT. We are able to reach out and bridge the digital divide. We are able to interact like we are doing now. We are able to also bring about possibilities in education. Well, now this is what a model of the 21st century classroom should look like, wherein it is characterized by digital tools, digital apps that which every single one of us should embrace, so that we'll be able to embrace inclusivity, so that we'll be able to accommodate everyone, so that we'll be able to connect our learners with the world. These are the tools. I don't have to mention them as they are visible on the screen. I thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Eric. That was amazing. That was insightful. That was such a great presentation. Thank you, thank you. That was so good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I just want to